Okay, so here we don't have to speculate on what's going on at MSNBC. This article, this article just dropped about why Mehdi Hasan was fired, among other people who got pulled off the air.
Oh, I wonder why.
Well,
he was such a great piece of shit. They should have kept him forever.
But you know what? These fucking goons are so horrible that they make Mehdi Hasan the hero of the story. The weeks following the Hamas attack on October 7th were a tense and surreal time at MSNBC. On October 9th, the Monday after a weekend of breaking news coverage, Jonathan Greenblatt, the head of the Anti-Defamation League, appeared on Morning Joe. I love this show, he said, and I love this network, but I've got to ask, who is writing the scripts? Hamas? His vague criticism appeared directed at the three Muslim anchors who had worked that weekend. Ali Veshi, Ayman, how do you say this name? Moyeldin? I don't watch MSNBC anymore. Moyeldin?
I don't know. Well, yeah, that sounds right.
Okay. And Mehdi Hasan, who had all long been targets of various Zionist media watchdog groups like Camera and Honest Reporting, which regularly accused them of spreading lies about Israel. In 2014, Moyeldin had been working as an NBC News correspondent when he was abruptly pulled out of Gaza after reporting on an Israeli attack that killed 4 boys playing soccer on a beach, only to be reinstated after a social media outcry. In 2022, Semaphore reported executives had expressed, quote, discomfort with Moyeldin's and Hassan's coverage of violence between Israel and Palestine in the year prior. The weekend of October 7th, MSNBC interrupted its recap show, Morning Joe Weekend, to go directly into breaking news. Velshi was the first to anchor the desk, and he brought on Moyeldin to talk. Quote, what is the broader context, Moyeldin asked Velshi, explaining how Hamas viewed the attack as retaliation for ongoing settler violence in the West Bank. Quote, the important thing to understand in all of this is that this is not a conflict that started today.
So it's not like
I remember that video. I remember watching that video, not live on TV.
I remember the who writes the scripts Hamas thing. That video I didn't see though. Hasan appeared as a commentator.
Hamas is going to be like, that's just that in 1,000 years, that's going to be like a Yiddish slang term for anything that pisses you off.
Yeah, right.
The traffic on the bridge, it was Hamas.
Yeah.
Right?
It was a real Michigan Hamas.
Hasan appeared as a commentator on Sunday night when his show would normally air while Alex Witt anchored. In a 6-minute appearance, he spoke about everyday life on the Gaza Strip, describing it as an open-air prison and stressing the population density, poverty, and high number of children. Meanwhile, Greenblatt was privately meeting with NBC executives to urge them to do something about what he saw as anti-Israel coverage, which the ADL equates with anti-Semitism, a fact revealed on air that Tuesday when he appeared again on Morning Joe alongside Al Sharpton. Quote, and this is what a fucking whore Al Sharpton is. I know you had very positive conversations with people here at the top of the network, Sharpton said to Greenblatt, and I think that the leadership here understood that in your conversations. You motherfucker, you've been running around, running your fucking grift since the Tawana Brawley days, which I'm a native New Yorker. I remember your fucking bullshit from back then. And you talk about social justice and justice for all people, and you're going to get in bed with a piece of fucking shit like this while the brown people you supposedly care so much about are being cruelly genocided on a daily basis. You can see the videos everywhere on social media, and you're going to fucking suck up to this scumbag on TV?
He'll do as he's told. Black people don't like him.
This motherfucker.
Just white liberals like him now. I mean, for a while, it was only white liberals that liked him at all. I remember when there were black people that were like, call Reverend Sharp. I had a friend that went to, that's a long time ago. He's been exposed some time ago. It's only like your Joe Scarborough's. Oh yeah, bring Al Sharpton on, and he looks like a mummy. Have you seen him?
He does.
He's clearly
what is that? What is that? Lap band surgery? What?
Yeah, I don't know why people have a conspiracy about clones. No, he wasn't cloned. He's clearly degraded into a whatever kind of thing Joe Biden is. No cloning. He's not fresh out of the fucking pod. He's the same piece of shit.
There's a conspiracy theory about an Al Sharpton clone.
About all these
Well, he's
people.
just clones. How
Dude,
these
all
people
these
don't
people-
look
Yeah.
like themselves.
They go,
I was
this
about to
is
say,
the
what
same.
podcast are you listening to? I got to check those out.
Dude, they made
Sounds
that
far out shit.
Netflix movie. They cloned Tyrone or whatever the fuck.
Oh yeah, I saw
That's
that.
an old
Yeah,
school.
yeah.
But all people, because they believe in these figures for a minute, and they go, but they're like a totally different person. Do you see so the explanation is not, it was a lie the whole time. Somebody must have cloned them.
Somebody must have
Different-
cloned them, and the real Al Sharpton is tied to a chair somewhere with a gag in his mouth.
Yeah, but
and
there was no
come
real
out
Al
the clone.
Sharpton. That never was a thing. That's the point.
Right.
But Al Sharpton was always this person.
That's right.
It's not even
That's
like
what he's
it's
saying.
really a
Construct.
change. He was always like that.
Right. There is no Al.
Afterward, anchors were told by management not to give their opinion. With Al Sharpton, his grift used to be to pose as this outsider.
Yeah, right.
But it's like I think it was Huey Long who said whores, politicians, and ugly buildings all get respectable if they last long enough. That's what
true.
that's what happened with Al Sharpton.
Yeah.
He lasted long enough that he could get a job on MSNBC. Afterward, anchors were told by management not to give their opinions or offer context around the Hamas attack or Israel's subsequent siege of Gaza, a directive that did not seem to apply to hosts like Joe Scarborough, who would regularly affirm his support for Israel on air and online. Quote, everybody put the screws to NBC and MSNBC to change the tenor of our coverage, says one employee. Around October 7th, context was not welcome, says another. Context was a bad word. Empathy for Palestinians almost felt forbidden inside MSNBC. Some employees began lodging complaints to HR about staff they felt were expressing views that were too pro-Palestinian, says one employee.
What does this remind you of? This reminds me of when the SJW plague first hit all companies and there'd be complaints lodged. I don't
Sure.
feel safe.
Sure.
So you don't need operatives for this. You got to program your society to turn into these little Chairman Mao children. And that's what they did. And now that's why woke is dead, because these ones take precedence over the other ones.
they're using those techniques and that language. I mean, there's been a split among these Zionist anti-woke people.
Yep.
You have the Barry Weiss camp
Mhm.
that does not want to add Jews to the list of protected identities.
Right.
She wants to use this as an opportunity to end the whole premise.
That's right.
And then you have others who want Jews added to the list.
Yeah. John
of
Stewart's like,
protected
we
categories.
should be together.
Right. According to someone with knowledge of the newly proposed weekend schedule, before October 7th, the Mehdi Hasan show was always part of the lineup. Quote, they needed a sacrificial lamb. There was remarkable pressure on MSNBC to say, we've done something, they say, referring to compounding pressure both inside and outside the company. They needed to show that someone lost something of value because of the Israel-Gaza stuff. You get the most bang for your buck by getting rid of him.
I mean, he's probably annoying.
I would say he
How to Win Any
probably
Argument,
is
his book,
a
How to Win.
pretty annoying guy.
He wrote a book called How to Win Any, except one, obviously. But he fucking made the book. What kind of piece of shit would write a book like that? Not a thing of like that's why I hate these debate kind of things, because if we're having a debate and you're right, I'll go, oh, thanks, I didn't know that you were right. Like, I'm not trying to win for an audience. I want to know things.
I think for certain people, particularly people of Muslim descent, non-white people of Muslim descent, you have seen certain people like Mehdi Hasan who would sell out their mother for a nickel, or so you would think. This is, if you've ever read or seen the film adaptation of V is for vengeance.
Vendetta.
V for Vendetta. V is
yeah.
for Vendetta. There's this beautiful story where this, lesbian decides she'd rather be executed than sell herself. And she says that there's that one last inch of your soul that you won't give away. And it seems like this issue is that for some people.
Yeah.
For Mehdi Hasan, this issue seemed to be the 1 inch of his soul that he simply could not give away.
Yeah, and they shit canned him before it got to the point where, like, they wouldn't have been able to contain him as this has gotten worse and worse and worse and worse, right? Like they would have either had to, by this point, fired him or let him say what he wants, and they're not going to let him say what he wants.
Yeah, Velshi is Canadian first, so he'll be a punk because he was doing the report on APAC. APAC is, I couldn't believe we're sitting there, me and Jimmy, APAC has too much influence, MSNBC.
Right, yeah.
We're like, and I was like, if Mehdi Hasan just held out, he could have been doing this report.
Right.
But Velshi gets to do it because he's a better suck up.
Right.
These people are the worst.
Hey, come see us do a live show in El Paso, Texas, San Antonio, Denver, Colorado, Los Angeles, California, May 19th at the Zephyr Theater. That's a panel show with video. Ashland, Virginia, Athens, Georgia, Rutherford, New Jersey, Minneapolis, Ontario, California, Irvine, California. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets.